is Sam Logue here for Green Blood Boxing. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined again by Eric Donovan. Eric, thanks very much for joining me, man. How are you getting on?
Thanks for having me, Sam. Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Wasn't. Obviously, you have a big fight coming up against Zelfa Barrett. Week 3 of Matchroom Fight Camp. I believe it's the 14th of August. How are you feeling?
I feel great. Buzzing for this now, to be honest with you. Been a long time coming. So I just finished up my last sparring there today, my last sparring session. So we're very happy with the conditioning, with the preparation, the form I'm in. And, you know, when you get through sparring and you tick all the boxes and you don't pick up any knocks or anything, like, it's always a good feeling, because that can happen. You know, you can hurt your hand, or you can pick up little injuries along the way, but thankfully everything ran so smoothly. And it's all about just getting the mind right now and just maintaining the weight and just kind of recovery coming back down. So I mean, I weigh in tomorrow week, you know, and you know, and I box then the next day. So I can't wait for it.
Wasn't that? I think it's also it's a great fight, and anyone who knows yourself or knows anything about Zelfa Barrett as well, or has seen either of you fight, knows this is odds on to be a cracking fight, no matter the result. But I wanted to ask you actually if you watched the first installment of Fight Camp last weekend, and what did you think of that? Because I watched it myself, and
I had to watch it. Of course, I did. Yeah, I was glued. I was glued to it. So it was brilliant. What a spectacle! Like, it was unbelievable, you know. And I like where I'm going to be on the card as well. I'm just before the main event, so it's kind of like co-main event or chief support or whatever. So it's going to be a lovely time. The darkness will have arrived, and you know, the ring will be lit up really well. And I'm just raring to go, man. This is my time.
Yeah,
100%. My time, and I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, the presentation and the production of the whole event, it looks amazing, doesn't it? I'd say you're buzzing for that.
Class.
Yeah, no, really top. And you have to kind of give it to Eddie Hearn and Sky Production with that. They kind of lead the way with that stuff, don't they? We'll go on to your opponent. You were talking about your training camp, like everything's gone really well. You look in good shape. You look like you've really come down since the last time we spoke. You're quite close to weight, I would assume. But Zelfa Barrett is obviously probably still in a lot of people's eyes a prospect. 23-1, very good fighter, looks very good. Have you seen much of him? And what do you think of the fight?
Yeah, I've seen a bit of him. I've seen a bit of him. I've watched him even, like, you know, before there was any discussions or mention of even him being a possible opponent. You know, I would have just sat at home and watched some fight nights where I think he was with Frank Warren or something for a while, and maybe he was having some fights on BT or whatever. So I would have came across him and watched him, and I always took a liking to him. You know what I mean? I said, hey, it's a good fighter. Like, you know, I like this guy. He's good style. He's good. You know, he's good vibe and pretty good. You know. So and then so I would have. You know, he's a good guy, and I respect him for that. You know, he's got good boxing skills, good boxing IQ, and you know, fundamentally he's not bad. You know what I mean? But you know, when it was put to me, would I like to fight him? I said absolutely, 100%. You know, it's an opportunity that, like, I didn't have to be asked twice. You know, there was no hesitation. And so once I decided, once we knew we were going to fight him, then we had to start working on a plan. And everything we've been doing over the last number of weeks was to get myself into the best shape possible, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, everything. And I'm ticking all of those boxes. And now all I've got to do is just go out and perform, execute the game plan. And if I can do that, even just to the best of my ability, then there will be absolutely no doubt about the outcome of this fight. It will be a victorious win for Eric Donovan. And I will move into the top 15 of the IBF world rankings. And
excellent,
then it's showtime, baby.
Yes, excellent to hear, Eric. And it's really good to see that confidence as well. Like, you can feel it that you're flying, and you really, like, the self-belief going into the fight is massive, which is obviously so important. Because it's to be fair, it's a step up for you as well. You know, Zelfa is 23-1. It's a considerable, in terms of records, at least it's a considerable step up for yourself. So, but what I actually wanted to ask you was, have you seen any kind of weak points in this game that you can kind of look to exploit? Or
absolutely, yeah. Like, I mean, you know, yeah, he's my best opponent to date. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But I'm his as well.
I would agree.
So make no question about it. Like, he's never been in the ring with anybody like me. So, yeah, I mean, I see lots of areas that I can exploit and I will exploit, because they're that's the route to beating Zelfa Barrett, you know. Obviously, I'm not going to discuss them here with you.
Yeah.
Because
see what I could get out
that would be an idiotic move.
100%.
But no, yeah. Look, I mean, he has his flaws, he has his strengths as well.
Yeah.
But you know, it's all about the 14th. What kind of Zelfa Barrett turns up? What kind of Eric Donovan turns up? You know 100%. What I mean? Like, it's talent meets talent. You know what I mean? It's a high level fight. And you know, I think the winners are going to be the viewers, you know, and the fans, and they're going to really be treated to I think anyway, a spectacle of high class boxing.
So do I, 100%. An interesting thing, I think, is the only loss on Zelfa's record comes to Ronnie Clark, Scottish guy, very good, good record. He's a southpaw. I was having a look at the fight myself. Do you read anything into that fight? Do you kind of see some areas where you can exploit? Is that where you get some ideas from, or would you not be looking too much into that?
Yeah, like he came unstuck against Ronnie Clark. You know, he came undone. He didn't know how to deal with Ronnie Clark at certain times.
Yeah,
but Ronnie Clark wasn't even in his performance. Wasn't even like exceptional. You know, he just did a few basic things, and you know what I mean? But Zelfa couldn't deal with it. But look, it was a huge learning fight for Zelfa. So you can't really read into things too much, because he would have learned more in that fight than probably his 20 wins or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so he would have went back to the drawing board, and he come out with some good performances since then. He was only 25, I think, when he lost that time to Ronnie Clark. And he's 27 now, so he's more mature, he's developed, you know.
He's had a couple of good wins since then as well, the likes of Woodstock.
So, like, I mean, it's you learn more from a loss like that, you know. And it was a close fight as well. Ronnie beat him, there's no doubt about it. But like, it was competitive enough, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was definitely a reasonably close fight. Yeah,
he's going to be a tough code to crack. But you know, I've worked my ass off for this, and you know, our mission, our objective, is to beat Zelfa Barrett. So by hook or by crook, that's what we're going to do. And that's what we've been preparing for the last 10 weeks, you know? So, like, the job is still beat Zelfa Barrett. Do that, and the mission is a success. Don't do it, and it's a failure. So, like, we don't think about that, though. We think about one thing, one objective, one goal. Beat Zelfa Barrett on the 14th of August and move on in my career to bigger and better things.
100%. The confidence is great to see. It's like really refreshing or something, but it makes me even more excited than I already was for this fight, man. It really is looking good. What do you not read into, but you're fighting on a Matchroom show here, Sky Sports broadcast. Biggest spectacle that you've ever been involved in, would be probably fair to say, at least from a professional standpoint in the professional game. Does that affect your mentality in any way, or does that kind of change things for you, or how do you think you're gonna deal with that going into the fight?
Yeah, it's a big platform, big exposure. I'm already noticing the exposure. I mean, like, there's a hell of a lot of attention. This fight's getting a hell of a lot of attention, but that's what I want. You know, many times I've been in fights in the past, trying to build up my record, trying to develop into a professional boxer, into a well-rounded professional boxer, and it was a slow process, and it was a tedious at times and frustrating, you know, especially when you're trying to secure sponsorship and sell tickets, and you know, and prepare and get spars and try and work as well, and try and continue to bring in, you know, to have an income as well, to live, you know, to fulfill all my other obligations in life. So it was very hard, but like, this show here, I find, has been the best one for me in terms of like how professional it is, how there's no pressure on me with tickets, how I don't have to worry about it. All I'm doing is training and resting. The preparation has been key. And Matchroom have been an absolute pleasure to work with, because they are so professional. And then my team, from my coach to my fiance, to my sponsors, everybody around me, my family, and they're all working for me to make my life as much stress-free as possible. So I've never had the luxury of preparing for a fight like this before. So it's very reassuring that this is my biggest fight, and I've got the biggest support in every sense of the word. So
it seems like everything has gone perfectly for you, or as well as it could have gone. You touched on something there about working with Matchroom, like that it's been really good. They've been a pleasure to work with. How has it been different? I mean, obviously it's a completely different kind of production. They're obviously a bigger outfit, but even in terms of maybe some of the smaller things, like how has it been different? How Matchroom would deal with a fighter, say, in your experience, to how you've been dealt with by other probably smaller promotions?
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, like, my manager deals with it, so I'm talking about Matchroom, but I'm talking by way of my manager, via my manager, because he'd be dealing with them directly. But anything that he's been communicating to me, it's just been zero stress, zero. Yeah. And you know, he might have a question for me every now and then, whatever, I'd answer the question, but he's always there, he's available for me. And Matchroom are accommodating in the sense that, like, when we go over there, they have a whole schedule for us, our training times, or you know, anything that we need to make our life comfortable over there. Yeah, like, they're just on point. They're on point with everything. So sometimes there might be things outside of your control that you kind of just might frustrate you or annoy you a little tiny bit. But I mean, in this case here, everything outside of my own preparation, everything from the show, the schedule, the flights, the hotel, the transport, everything like that is just already locked in, prepared, and ready to happen. So it's just, you know, it's just a smooth operation. Just a smooth operation.
And do you think that, you know, it's almost like with this fight, it's, and how smooth everything's gone, and seeing the operation that Matchroom is, and seeing the kind of operation that Sky is, and the production, it's like you really, like, almost like an extra incentive to win the fight is to kind of be involved in this kind of production and this kind of professional setup going forward. Is that kind of like an extra incentive, do you feel?
Well, I mean, like, if you can't get motivated for a fight like this, there's something wrong with you, and you're not in the right sport, or you shouldn't even be in sport. The reward for winning a fight like this is absolutely massive. It's absolutely massive. Number one, you go into the top 15 the world ranking. So my next fight after this fight could potentially be a world title fight. The next thing as well is it opens the doors for so many other possibilities. And the exposure, and then the development and the confidence of coming through and winning a fight of this size will just stand to me no end. And once I got like, I'm already getting a taste of this whole professional setup. So obviously, I don't want to go backwards. I want to keep going forward. So I want more and more and more of this. You know, I'm a professional fighter. I'm a winner. I'm a world-class fighter. I believe I am. I have a lot of questions that need to be answered. And on the 14th, I'm going to answer them. And I'm going to, you know, I've made a promise to myself, like, you know what I mean? That, like, I'm going to give my absolute all. And that when the final bell rings on the 14th, that there is no excuses. None whatsoever. And that I will be victorious. And then I will move on to bigger. Like, that's the mindset that I have at the minute. I work my absolute ass off. I've come through so much adversity and so many challenges and hurdles and really, really dark places in my life. And now I'm a better man. I'm a better boxer. I'm just an all-around better human being for that. And I don't cut corners, and I don't take shortcuts. I'm an honest, hard-working, driven individual with so much talent, so much to offer boxing, and so much to offer myself and prove to myself. And on the 14th, I'm going to just relish it. I'm going to grab it with both hands. And I've never been more ready for an opportunity, because I've had many opportunities in my life, but I've never been more ready for an opportunity than I am for this one here. And that's the most reassuring, confident thing that anybody could ever say to themselves.
Yeah, like this is your time, and that's really the feeling I'm getting off you, is that this is your time, and nothing is going to take that away from me.
Nothing's going to take it away from me.
Yeah, no, everyone get your money on Eric Donovan. You know what? I just want to touch really quickly on a fellow Irishman, James Tennyson. Obviously, last week had a great performance. What did you think of Tenny's performance? And just brilliant. Overall, obviously not particularly far away from you in the weight classes either. It's maybe a possible future matchup. But what did you think of Tennyson's performance?
Oh, brilliant! Absolutely brilliant. He's a wrecking ball. He's a wrecking ball in the lightweight division. He's been a wrecking ball in the featherweight and the super featherweight division as well. Yeah. He's a fighter's fighter. He's a real throwback, you know, in your face, loads of work, his tempo, his fitness, his shot selection and all, and he has a good strong chin as well. He can take a punch, you know, and he can ship a bit of punishment too, and that's what disheartens people too. They catch him with their best shots, but he's still in their face and he's still coming forward and hitting you with plenty more in return. So great victory, great performance, and he's only going to go on to bigger and better things, because I think at his age, the best is yet to come from him. Yeah. And he's a promoter's dream. And the reason I say that is because you know he's going to give you value for your buck, you know, and you know that whatever card he's on, you know it's going to be exciting. So, yeah, no, kudos, hats off to James Tennyson. I don't think we'll be opponents. I'll be jumping through the featherweight and super featherweight divisions.
He seems to be a bit past it now, doesn't he?
Up in the lightweight now, yeah. So, you know, I don't. But we've sparred in the past, and we've had really good sparring sessions, and hopefully we'll spar again in the future too, because he's a very good professional, and you can learn a lot from him.
Definitely. Now, when I echo them sentiments as well, because it was a destructive performance from Tenny. Is even though he has vulnerabilities, he gets hit. He just, one thing he always is entertaining, and more often than not, he's landing those blows to get the guys out, isn't he? Yeah. Especially at this level. It'd be good to see him move up as well and get those higher level European title shots and maybe go on to world title level as well. But look, Eric, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been great to see you, great to talk to you today. I'm even more excited for the fight now than I was before. It's going to be cracking.
Thank you, Sam.
I really appreciate your time, mate, and hopefully we'll catch up after an Eric Donovan victory on August the 14th.
Absolutely.
Listen, mate, thank you very much. I will chat to you hopefully very soon. Best of luck with the rest of camp and best of luck with the fight. Okay, we'll be supporting you.
Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, mate. Bye-bye.